Good morning, everybody. This is Rob Muffett. Guys, would you believe me if I told you that there are some bread makers you can buy that cost over $400? What if I told you $600 or $800? What if I told you $1,000? We're going to go over the top bread makers you can find in the thrift store. Right now, everybody's making bread at home. This is my old Turbo Baker by DAC. I got it years ago. I used to make a living buying things at thrift stores and reselling them. One of the things I bought was bread makers. They weren't a popular item because they're extremely heavy, and at the time most of the ones that I bought were very simple and inexpensive. They were but less than $100. So when you go to the thrift stores, usually these are the types you find. They're excellent bread makers. You can still make a few dollars. But they make just simple loaves. There's nothing special about them or fancy. And they're similar to other type of bread makers that were made in the thousands that you can still find at a thrift store. But there are some bread makers that are made by commonly known manufacturers that go for a ton of money. This is the Panasonic, a SD RBM 1001, $921. Now this is coming from Japan. When you go to a thrift store, the people that work in a thrift store, they can't tell one from another. They don't know how expensive things are. They just know it's a bread maker, and they put the regular bread maker price. And a lot of times when people go to thrift stores, they don't look at bread makers because if they're in the business of buying and reselling items, bread makers are a pain because they're very expensive to ship, and you got to box them up and double box them and so on, and you always have to worry about if they arrive damaged and so on. So even though that they're profitable, but when you're going for $1,000, now you might say, well, this is just a one-time deal. It's coming from Japan. Of course, it's going to be expensive. It's coming from Japan, but it's not a one-time deal. Here's another one for $1,269. Okay, it's also from Japan. Well, let's go on some more here. This is a Panasonic. It's from the U.S. No, this is from Japan too. That's almost $800. This is from the U.S. It's a roti maker. Roti is an unleavened bread. It's very popular in India and many other countries. A lot of places in the Caribbean, like Trinidad and so on, make roti bread. You're not going to find these all the time, but the thing of it is, does a thrift store worker know that this is something special? Or is it just a regular bread maker? Now, this one, I think, is in used condition. It's excellent condition, but it's used. It's not like the previous ones we just looked at. It's going for $900, $899. Okay, well, maybe that's just a one-time deal. Here's a Panasonic, another one, but it's from the U.S., $1,000. They sold 96. So let's go over this again. It's Panasonic, a commonly known brand name of bread makers you can find in thrift stores, but this particular one goes for $1,000. They've sold 96 of them. They've sold almost $100,000 of this particular model bread maker. So doesn't that get your interest? If you're going to a thrift store right now looking for bread makers, while you're there, just see if you have any expensive ones. Here's another Panasonic. Now, the Panasonic is going to make a lot of the ones that are very expensive, but there's a lot of other brands too besides Panasonic. This is a very common one. It's not commonly found, but it's a common, one of the more expensive one, a Zoji Rushi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And they frequently go for a large amount of money used. This is $731. Usually when you go to a thrift store, they have $15, $20, $25 used. That's what they're selling for. I've seen them as low as $5. Not this particular one, but I have seen and purchased a Zoji Rishi before and sold it. And they're very profitable machines. Here's another one. And another one. This is a brand, I think it's from Germany, WMF Colt bread maker. And I thought, this I think is mostly sold in Europe. Now here's a Cuisinart. That's a very commonly known brand here in the U.S. And it's $500. I really didn't know that Cuisinart was making one that you could get $500 for. Now this is a new condition though. I've never heard of this brand, Imtech. Zero glue bread. I guess they mean zero gluten. But this is from Spain. Now that may be why I haven't heard this brand. But I wasn't going to add the ones from Spain because you're not likely going to find them. But I thought just in case, you never know. Sometimes people import them. Moulinex make a baguette, $486. So Morphy Richards, that's a European one I've never heard before. Breville, I've heard before, $375. Garland. Oster is very commonly known and usually rather inexpensive. This one is $400. And you can see how much it costs to ship these things. They're average between like $70 and $100. So that's why people don't really spend a lot of time buying and reselling the bread makers, because they cost so much to ship. So the people who put the stuff out on the shelves at the thrift store, they eventually put them out for very low prices. This is another one from Spain I've never heard before. Another one from Spain. This is a TriStar Cuisinart, $424. Costway, they sold 27 of them at $400 a piece. So Tiger is a popular brand in Japan. It's coming from Japan. Some of these do things other than just make bread. They might be a rice cooker. I've seen some of them actually make ice cream and so on. You never know what they're going to have. Hamilton Beach, that's a commonly known brand, rather inexpensive. This one is $376. So you get the idea. There's a lot of expensive brands out there when it comes to bread machines. They're not all $20 machines at the thrift store. That's all you're going to make. You can make a lot of money on some of these. So if you're a thrift store worker, how would you know if this is a regular bread machine that was originally sold for like new for $89? Instead, some of these are $890. Yeah, but they all look alike. And a lot of them are have very commonly known brand names that you're familiar with that are rather inexpensive. Multifunction. The Rodi, this is a Rodi bread maker. Soji Rushi. If you're interested in selling on eBay and buying stuff from the thrift stores, I wrote this book years and years ago. I still sell on Kindle. It's got some pretty good ratings. It's only like $3. The resources, the internet resources, became obsolete almost overnight. But the personal narrative of how I bought and sold things is still relative. It's very helpful, and it's actually funny in some parts. It's very I had a lot of fun writing it, and still a lot of good information. So guys, hope that was something helpful to you. There's a lot of people out there during the pandemic. They're making the bread at home. And if you go to the thrift store, try to pick up a bread maker for a few dollars, you probably can. But there's still some good buys out there where you can make a lot of money on some bread makers. I thought I would just show you some sleeper items that you can make a few bucks other people may not know about. All right, guys, I put new videos on every single week. Been doing it for 13 years. Got over 880 videos. Got a bunch of cool people I feature on my channel. No relation to me. They would deny it anyway. Got a bunch of playlists on different things. And like I said, I put stuff on Sundays, reviews, and Fridays, mostly food and kind of wild card stuff, whatever we want on Wednesdays. All right, guys, hope this was something helpful to you, and you all come back and watch more, and you all stay safe and go get your bread maker. All right, take care. See you out there.